Okay, everybody, this week we are going to spend the whole week talking on professionalism. Again, I am downstairs in the enclosed office, so I can take off my mask. I like to have the whiteboard here. And like I said, this entire week, we're going to talk about professionalism. Now, professionalism is the skill to have good judgment and be polite, have good polite behavior that is expected from a person who is trained to do a job well. So pretty much being professional is to have good behavior and have good judgment while you're at work, okay? To put it another way, you carry yourself and your attitude, the way you communicate with others, or the lack thereof. Meaning you want to have good communication, you want to carry yourself in a positive way. Those are part of being professional. You want to treat others the way you would want to be treated. We say that all the time. Don't talk to people how you want to be talked to. So how you want to be treated, that's part of being professional. Another thing is if you get upset, is being able to keep your cool. That's kind of how we define being professional. You just want to make sure you're representing yourself in Valley.industries in the most positive possible way you can. So that's kind of my definition of professionalism. Just all those things wrapped up in one. And as we go further, you're going to see that a lot of being professional is all the stuff we talked about. I already talked about, communication and, representing with the customer service and all that kind of stuff. Everything we've talked about previously kind of all wraps up into professionalism. So what I have for professionalism this week is 8 tips for being professional. We are going to work on numbers 1 through 4 today, okay? I have 8 of them listed. This will be for Wednesday, and this is going to be for today, okay? I have them kind of broke down like, I'm sure you guys are looking at them and reading this fair fight. That's like verbal discussions, okay? I just have them kind of talked about or titled ways you guys will understand them. So the first one we're going to talk about being professional is to be on time. That's pretty simple, don't you think? You need to be at work on time. If you don't show up to work on time, you're giving the impression to your employer, which is Valley.industries, Jim McGuire, your supervisors, that you don't really care about your job. And this also includes being on time from breaks and lunches. That's really important because not only are you letting your supervisor and your company know, but then you might be letting your coworkers know you don't really care if you're on time. You don't care what the job is. But think about some of the jobs that we work on, especially the conveyor belt lines. If you're really late coming back from break, we can't start that job because your spot's empty. So we need you there. And then if you're doing a job where you put a part together and then pass it to somebody else, they have to wait on you. So you're kind of letting your coworkers and your friends know you don't care about them and their job either. So being on time is really important. And that's throughout the whole day, breaks and lunches, and coming to work on time, okay? Number 2, we're going to talk about to be professional is dressing appropriately. Valley.industries. Oops, somebody made a mistake on the intercom. Hopefully that'll turn off here in a second. There it is. Okay, so we were talking about dressing appropriately.
Terry Wilson, you have a call on 701. Terry Wilson, 701.
As you all know, Valley.industries has a handbook that you've been given, and we have a dress code in there. And our biggest thing with that, especially the being summertime right now, is all our shirts have to have sleeves, no sleeveless shirts, no sandals. Save your sandals and your flip-flops for the weekend because you have to have your toes and your heels all covered up. You can wear shorts, but they have to be long to your knees, okay? Can't be super short. The other thing is what's on your t-shirts, because you can wear a t-shirt as long as it has a sleeve, but no foul language, no rude comments. Got to pay attention to what's on your shirt too. Because when you come into work, especially if customers come out on the floor, they want to see how you're dressed. And if people are wearing old tore up t-shirts and dirty clothes. You want to make sure your clothes are clean and fresh. You don't want to wear the same clothes day in and day out, okay? That's all important about dressing appropriately, because customers don't want to see dirty clothes and vulgar language and things of that nature. They understand we're in a production atmosphere and we can wear relaxed clothes, but just make sure they're nice and clean and tidy, okay?
Linda Smith, call 201, please. Linda, call 201, please.
Number 3, stay positive. We've talked about having a positive attitude before. Part of being professional. You might at home get in an argument with mom or your roommates or somebody. That happens sometimes, or maybe you just wake up in an ucky mood. You just don't want to bring that to work. You need to leave that negativity at home, okay? Leave the negativity at home. You want to come to work, you want to come to work and make the best out of your situation. I mean, think about it. You have a job to come to work. You have friends at work. You'll get to see people that maybe you didn't get to see, earlier, or don't get to talk to them because you can't really talk on the phone. So you have some positive things that you can look forward to about coming to work, making your money, getting a paycheck. So those bad things that happen, you want to leave those at home. Leave that negativity at home. And another thing, if you're cranky in a bad mood and you talk to a friend, you don't want to bring that to your friend. You don't want to share that negativity and that bad news with them. Or even worse, if you're mad, you might snap at them or yell at them. That's not being professional. That's not doing that. So you got to kind of take a deep breath and start over when you're at work, okay? Our 4th and final step that we'll talk about today is watching your language. Now, I know we are all adults here, but there are some folks here, one, that just don't like hearing those bad words, so we got to respect them. But 2, and most importantly, you're at work. We don't use that kind of language at work. If you're on breaks and lunches, talking to each other, I know sometimes that slips and that happens because you're adults. You can say the bad words. You can say the curse words. There's some people, though, they just don't say them. They're not allowed to say them. So you've got to be cautious of the people around your area, because if other people hear you saying those words, they might get offended because they don't like those words. So you got to just watch your language. Best bet, I would say, is don't use any cuss words at work at all, because you can't use them on the floor. You can't talk to your supervisors that way. You can't talk to your coworkers on the floor that way. The only way you can maybe use those words is when you're on break, but then you have everybody else around you that if somebody else hears you, they could get offended or they don't like those words, and so you can't say it. I know for sure, and I've done it with folks before. If I'm walking through the break room and I hear that language, I will ask you to watch your language, that other people can hear you. It's not professional. It's not polite. So we don't watch your language, okay? So the 4 pieces of info we talked about today was being on time, dressing appropriately, staying positive, and watch your language, okay? And we're going to have a worksheet that has questions about these 4 things and the definition of professionalism. And I've decided this week's going to kind of be a word search week. And then you're going to have a word search puzzle. I think it's Friday's. Friday's worksheet's going to have a few pages on it. So make sure you're looking at every page on the worksheet. It's not just one sheet. It's anywhere from 2 to 4 pages. So make sure you look at every page. But all week we're going to be talking about professionalism, okay? See you guys on Wednesday.